So, I don't really do car reviews on this channel. In fact, I just do music, but to me, those two things are almost the same. Let me explain that. I guess I was about 11 when I started getting into cars. When I was growing up, I would really enjoy looking at these really expensive, super nice cars. But as I got older, I got a little too practical. And I started to say, you know, I can't really afford those cars. So I'm not going to look at them. I can't afford a $250,000 sports car, which was silly. So here's where the Alfa Romeo comes into play. I finally decided, you know what? It doesn't matter how much they are. If I really want these cars, I should look at them and strive to buy them. And I realized that all those years that I kind of didn't spend time looking at nice cars was one of my biggest mistakes because I stopped striving to buy them. You know, I don't really care as much about having a nice big house necessarily, although I tend to look at nice big houses on Instagram a lot. But anyways, I care more about the garages in those big houses. If it's a 4-car garage, that's gonna be a pass. I've always wanted to have a lot of really nice cars. And that was one of the things I really strived to do. And the Alfa Romeo Giulia was what got me into cars again. It's what got me excited and thinking, oh my gosh, I wanna own these cars again. And that's when I realized what a big mistake it was to stop looking at cars. Because that's one of the things that made me excited to go out and do more with myself and make money. And I realized how important, you know, that was to me. And so the Alfa Romeo Giulia, it's kind of that reminder like, hey, you deserve this, go work towards it, you know? And this car is just a ton of fun. I honestly think this is the best daily driver for anybody. I kind of make the mistake of thinking, oh, I have to have the Quadrifoglio, which is the more expensive 600 horsepower version of this car, but I really don't. You know, this is everything you really need in a car. There we go, now it's turning on. And so let's go for a drive, and I just want to talk about this car. I just got back from a little road trip that I took with this car. I just drove it up to Nashville and back. My goodness. On the way back, I actually set my GPS. I needed to pick something up at Walgreens. So I set it to Walgreens, and as I was driving back into the town I'm in, I forgot where I set my GPS. I was like, wait, where am I driving? And the best part is, like, I didn't care where I was going. I kind of fell in love with driving. You know, I've always enjoyed driving. It's always been a fun activity, but I don't know if I've ever fallen in love with driving. Like, driving this car today, I legitimately fell in love with driving. There is something about this car. I really believe this is the car that everyone needs in their life. So, yeah, the Alfa Romeo Giulia is really what reminded me what's actually important. Like, if you really like something, it doesn't matter if it's impractical. And for a moment, let's just appreciate where the stop-start button is right here on the steering wheel of this car. Like, how do you not love that? This is an amazing car. It's like so perfect to drive. It's your dream car. You just don't realize it yet. It's not even an impractical dream car. I was watching a YouTuber back when I was watching a bunch of Alfa Romeo Giulia videos, and I watched this YouTuber say, the Giulia Quadrifoglio, if you want anything more expensive than that, you don't. You want the Giulia Quadrifoglio. It's the best car ever built. And driving this car, I totally see why. Like, I totally believe that these are the best cars ever built. They're so easy and fun to drive. This is what every car should be. This is what everybody should just drive. Like, I just can't get over how fun this car is. And actually, the guy I rented this from, he told me where the stop-start button was. And I was just like, yeah, it's okay. I know where it's at. I know where everything is. I know everything about this car. Why did I even get a hotel room? Like, I could just sleep in the back seat. Just sleep back there? Like, nice comfortable leather seats. When I rented this car, I was like, oh, it's the base model. It's, you know, it's fine. It's just as fast as my car. Like, I knew it was gonna be nice, but I didn't know that I was gonna fall in love with driving it. I'd driven this car once before, but it was just a short, like, test drive. Like, now that I've driven this car on an actual road trip, like, I will appreciate driving my car more because I've driven this car. I think people would fight wars for this car. I kind of imagine this is the car that Julius Caesar probably would have driven, going over, what's the name of that river? The Rubicon. Crossing the Rubicon, I imagine Julius Caesar would have driven this car. I mean, it's Italian, so, but I don't think it was a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. I think it was an Alfa Romeo Giulia. Well, actually, now that I think about it, there were no roads back then, so, like, he'd probably want the SUV, the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, because it's all-wheel drive, and then it's higher up on the ground. So Julius Caesar probably would have driven the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. are the type of roads this car was frickin' made for. This is what driving was meant to be. You know, I think if I was gonna open my third eye, I'd probably gonna do it tonight in this car. Really is God's gift to humanity, and you should buy one, or 3 of them, or 4 or 5, but get one at least.
I'm feeling this, right where I wanna be. Check out my web, I'ma step on it, yeah.